All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I'll share my screen with you just so you can see the presentation. We'll go through a very short PowerPoint, and then I'll show you where to find the materials that I mentioned in the PowerPoint on Show Me Childcare Resources. So go ahead and I'm Dory. I know we've spoken on the phone before, yes. But I've never seen your face, so it's nice to meet you virtually. All right, so are you able to see, it's a picture of a baby doing some tummy time and it says developmental milestones? Awesome. So I focused on our Show Me Childcare Resources website that's for childcare programs. Before I joined Childcare World Missouri, I worked as a pre-kindergarten teacher for 4 years and spent my high school and college years working in childcare. I'm an early childhood education major, graduated from Lindenwood in 2013. So right now, my focus is on the site, but it's also in kind of developing some more supports in the site, specifically for teachers and administrators. And today we're talking about what's available for teachers concerning developmental milestones. Usually I would ask for you to go ahead and share a little bit about yourself and your program. If you want to type that in, feel free. If not, I totally understand. It's just a lot, especially when you're not able to speak where I can hear you. But before we do get started, after we're finished, I'll send you a survey just asking some feedback questions, see if there are any topics that you would want to see in future webinars or any resources you would like to see added to Show Me Childcare Resources. So just keep that in mind, be on the lookout in your email because I'll be sending that out once we're finished. So go ahead and get started. Like I said, this will be a brief presentation. Usually these last about 15 minutes or so, and there's a few minutes at the end for any questions that you might have. My mouse is lost. There we go. So based in Show Me Childcare Resources, there are different helpful tools for teachers to use either in their classroom or as resources to share with families. I will say the majority of the resources that I will share with you today are from the CDC, so they can be located on the CDC website. It's just that they're all located in one spot on Show Me Childcare Resources as well. You can see on the slide that I included the Milestone Tracker app that's available through the CDC, and it's generally used by families, but it can also be used by teachers to help support the children that they care for and plan for activities to support their growth and development. On this slide, you'll also see the tip sheet for teachers talking to families where their children are as far as their development, if they're struggling, how to kind of approach those conversations with a solid bedside manner, that kind of thing. There are also materials by age range on Show Me Childcare Resources from the CDC that are available to see what children should be doing at certain ages, what activities they can benefit from within their growth and development. So it's just a quick brief synopsis of what's available as far as the technology side. Now, as you're working with children in your care, or your teachers are working with children, you want to consider where they fall on the milestone timeline. So most developmental milestones are met within an age range and not necessarily at a specific time or age. So it could fall anywhere between 4 to 8 months or something like that. And some children develop a little bit earlier, some children develop a little bit later, as you already know. So depending on the child's age, you'll want to know what they should be able to do up to that age and what they should start doing while they're in your care so that you can plan accordingly. Once you have that information, you can plan your activities so that you can practice building the skills. For example, preschoolers benefit from reading and looking at books as it helps build their letter recognition and their phonemic awareness, and toddlers can work on their grip with writing tools and utensils to develop their fine motor skills. They can also work with Play-Doh and the tools that come with those Play-Doh sets, like rolling pins and the scissors and things like that, so that they can build those fine motor muscles. It's important to be aware of what milestones children should be reaching so that you can support those children who may be struggling, who you identify in your classroom as needing a little bit extra support, or who may be severely struggling and severely behind in their development, so that you can interact with their families, let them know what your concerns are, and encourage those families to talk to their pediatricians. So I'll go ahead and get into the site now so that you can see where these things are in the site that I'm talking about. So give me just 1 second. I'm going to set my share of this screen, and I'll share my screen over here. Oh, there's Nina.
They're going to be talking. So.
Just have information or what? Oh, okay. Did you want me to take over here?
Hey, Nina.
Hi.
I'm not sure if you're able to hear me. Our other participant, Lori, she can hear me, but I cannot hear her. So I'm not sure if I'll have the same issue with hearing you as well. If you can hear me, if you would type into the chat box and just let me know, that would be great.
Where's the chat box? Okay.
So when you log into Show Me Childcare Resources, this is the home page. Are you able to see that on my screen right now, Laurie? Awesome. And Nina, I'm still, let me check the chat box. Give me 1 second. All right, awesome. All right, Nina, so I cannot hear you. So if you do have any questions or anything, please type them into the chat box, and I'll keep a look on that so I can answer anything you guys have. And Nina, also, we've been doing this for a couple minutes, but I am recording it so I can send it to you when we're all finished so that you can have a copy of this webinar, okay? And Lori, I can do the same for you if you would like. So, as I said, when you log in Show Me Childcare Resources, this is the home page. And in order to get to these specific developmental resources that I'm talking about, you would go to the In the Classroom tab. You would scroll down to Teacher Resources, and you would click on the Child Development Resources. Now, originally these resources, and they still live in a different area, but originally they were found in the Engaging Families section. This is, oh, there it is. But I've brought them over here because I know they're also helpful to teachers who are working with children and with families every day. So this Developmental Milestones, when you click this link, it brings you here. It goes through the age where, like, typically a certain milestone would be met or multiple milestones would be met. It also mentions the Milestones Matter app that I had mentioned to you, Lori, from the CDC that can be utilized, and you can learn more about that there. And then that same app, there's like a poster and a sheet that you can share with families if you would prefer. And then down here, tips for talking with parents. I'll go ahead and pull that up. So just different suggestions when you're talking to parents if you have concerns, how to introduce those and best communicate what your concerns may be and how to move forward with those. Go back. So that's the Developmental Milestones link that I have on this page. Now, the Developmental Challenges, when I click that, again, it originally lived in the Engaging Families admin section, but I brought it over here just so that teachers can find it easily and not have to search through other areas of the site. So again, the tips for speaking with parents, what a developmental screening might look like for certain children, and then other developmental challenges that may arise for children as they're going through their early years. Things to look for, things to suggest to parents, that kind of stuff. All right. And then back here in the Teacher Resources section, there are more resources available. And this goes through the age range of things that you can give to parents or utilize in your classroom for activities that you can do with the children in your care. So what infants should be doing, where they're at as far as their developmental timeline and how you can support them. So if you're working on tummy time and sitting up, strengthening those back muscles, working on their vision and tracking, all of that with toddlers, what their development would look like and how you can support that, and then so on even through the teenage years. Not that you guys would necessarily need that, but it is there. And then down here, just further supports for that growth and development piece. Down here, this is very family specific. From Penn State, there are resources that can be shared with families. So if that's of interest to you, that is available. But as far as the growth and development focus, I share these resources over the Penn State resources. Then there are also the NAUIC resources for families as well. All right, so any questions as far as what's on the site, how to locate it?
No.
Second here. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this share again and go back into our PowerPoint. So this was the technology support piece that we went through. We talked about milestones in the classroom, what to consider. Now, we briefly touched on helping families, what you can do to just give them those resources. And most often, you know, families will turn to their child care providers with questions about their children, even before they would talk to their pediatrician. And while I recommend you encourage them to talk to their pediatrician for those more serious concerns you might have, you can always offer them outside resources that might be useful to them. And those are available on the site as I showed you. And those kinds of resources can help you create those open pathways of communication with families, and they can help you and the family work together to develop those better plans for their children to support them as they're growing in your care. Right. So that concludes my presentation. But before we wrap up, do you guys have any questions about what I have shared with you? And then I actually have some questions for you, if you don't mind. So, oh, hold on. I don't want to go that far. So, do you guys share information with families as their children are moving into like different age classrooms, or if you're a family child care, if their birthday is coming up or they're reaching kind of a pivotal age, do you guys ever share information with families beyond if they were to ask you a question about it?
Get your blanket and speak to her.
For some reason, I can't find my chat box. Oh, there it is. Oops. Now it's gone. Sorry, guys. I don't know why it was just up on my screen. Give me just 1 second. All right. Oh, weekly folders. That's cool. Newsletters, monthly newsletters. Awesome. And also, just an FYI, and you may know this already, but there are newsletter templates available in Show Me Childcare resources if you're ever looking to change it up or anything like that.
Okay.
And then my other question for you all, pull it up. I don't know where my screens are going here. There we go. There we go. So then, do many of your families come to you with questions about their children's development, or do you feel like that's not really something that they come often?
No. Roll it up, yeah. I'm sorry.
Do families come to you with questions about their child's development often, or do you typically not get those kinds of questions? Excuse me. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, after one child, they might not have as many questions, but those parents of just those new babies and first children tend to have a lot of questions. All right, good to know. Thank you, guys. Now, that does it for me. You guys have my contact information, so if you ever have any questions about the site or are looking for something specific outside of child development, feel free to let me know and I can help you find what you're looking for, okay? You're welcome. Thank you for your time today. And I'll go ahead and send that survey to you both. And I'll send, once the webinar recording is processed, I'll be able to send that via email to you guys. But yeah, please fill out that survey and just give me some feedback and give me some ideas for what you would like to see either on the site or in future webinars.
Okay.
Thank you guys. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.